Hello, River Landing. A woman in the checkout line is pulling out her billfold, and she had to dig through her purse to find it. Strangely, as she's digging, she pulls out a TV remote, and the checker says to her, "Do you always carry your remote in your purse?" And the lady says, "Only when I want to get even with my husband." Jesus makes forgiveness a center point in his message. Forgive each other just as the Lord has forgiven you, so you must also forgive, he said. If another member of the church sins against me, how often should I forgive? As many as 7 times? And Jesus answered, not 7 times, but 70 times 7. Tom Long tells about an inner city pastor meeting his wife for lunch, and they met in the church parking lot, and they heard cries coming from the sidewalk, calls for help. It was an older woman whose husband had collapsed on the sidewalk. The minister's wife ran inside to call 911, and the pastor ran over to assist the man who was having trouble breathing. He loosened the man's collar, held his head, and took him by the hand. "Try to relax," he said. "We've called an ambulance, and it should be here in just a few minutes." To the pastor's surprise, the man looked up at him and said, "Forgive me, Charlie." The pastor squeezed the man's hand and said, "I'm not Charlie, I'm Sam. I'm a minister, and I'll stay here with you until help comes. Don't be afraid." The man responded more urgently, "Charlie, please forgive me." "I'm not Charlie," the minister said. "Stay calm now, and we'll get you to the hospital." But the man's breathing changed, and his face turned ashen, and the pastor thought, this man might not make it to the hospital. The man whispered again, "Charlie, I'm begging you, please forgive me." Not knowing if it was right, the minister embraced the dying man and said, "I forgive you. I forgive you." There was a nod of recognition, the slightest smile, and then the man's breathing stopped and his eyes rolled back in his head. Later, the minister learned that Charlie was a prodigal son who wanted to come home. But unlike the parabolic father, this father had been too proud and too angry to forgive him. So Charlie stayed in the far country, never came home. And of course, in refusing home for his son, the father's house ceased to be home for himself. That's how it works. Forgiveness is the only way home for everyone involved. I hope you find forgiveness and give it this week. Blessings, my friends.